During the early morning hours of July 30th, two Des Moines police officers were involved in a fatal shooting incident, one that also resulted in one of those officers being injured by gunfire. This week, both the Office of the Attorney General of Iowa and the Polk County Attorney's Office issued rulings that the officers' use of deadly force in that incident was legally justified. This video has been prepared to help you understand what happened that night. It contains audio and video recordings as well as still photos from the scene. It has been edited for time and edited of the most graphic images and profanity. The content may be disturbing for some, so viewer discretion is advised. On July 30th at approximately 3:32 a.m., the Des Moines Police Department Communications Center received a phone call from a woman reporting that she was being harassed in violation of a no-contact order by an ex-boyfriend who she identified as 45-year-old Weston Derby, a resident of Nebraska.
Des Moines 911, do you need police, fire, or mental health services?
Police.
Okay, what's the address?
Southeast 35th Street, or Circle. I'm sorry, I'm so out of it. This guy's been harassing me for days. He's at my door again.
Who is he to you?
An ex-boyfriend. I just got a protection order today.
You have a no contact order with him?
Yeah.
Okay. Does he have any weapons?
I don't know.
I'll get the police sent out to you, ma'am, okay?
Two officers were dispatched to her home in the 5800 block of Southeast 35th Circle. Senior Police Officer Jesse Schneider was the first to arrive, with Officer Anthony Lampman following shortly after. While Officer Lampman gathers information from the victim for a police report, Officer Schneider heads out into the neighborhood to attempt to locate Derby. At approximately 3:53 a.m., Officer Schneider finds Derby driving in the neighborhood near the victim's home. Officer Schneider turns on his emergency lights and signals for Derby to stop.
Oh my God, it's taking off.
Derby does not stop and accelerates away from Officer Schneider, beginning a pursuit. It was learned later in the investigation that the vehicle Derby was driving was stolen 6 days earlier from Council Bluffs, Iowa. Officer Lampman leaves the victim's home to assist in the nearby pursuit. As the pursuit passes Officer Lampman, he pulls in behind Officer Schneider. Approximately 5 minutes after beginning, the pursuit continues westbound on East Army Post Road until the vehicle that Derby is driving leaves the roadway to the south and crashes into dense weeds and small trees, stopping the vehicle.
Ready for the workout? No problem.
Both officers stop their vehicles on the roadway and run towards Derby's vehicle. What happens in the next 15 seconds begins with officers seeing Derby holding in his hand what they recognize as a firearm. As Derby runs, multiple commands are given for Derby to drop the weapon. As he runs away from officers, Derby states that he's going to shoot himself, and he also states that he's going to point the weapon at officers. Derby turns to face the officers and points the weapon at his head. Derby then quickly and suddenly moves the weapon to a two-hand, arms extended position, pointing the weapon directly at both officers. Believing that their lives were in imminent danger, both officers fire their duty handguns at Derby.
Get ground! Get on the ground!
Don't touch me! I'll shoot myself! Point the gun at you! Don't shoot me! Don't wait! Leave me alone!
Drop it!
No.
Drop the gun! Drop it! Drop the gun! I'm hit. Are you hit? I'm hit. Shots fired. Shots fired. Re-hit. I'm hit in the chest. Shots fired. I got officer hit in the chest.
Both Derby and Officer Schneider are hit by gunfire. Despite life-saving efforts by Des Moines police officers and Des Moines Fire Department medics, Derby was pronounced deceased at the scene. Officer Schneider, critically injured, was rushed to the hospital by Des Moines Fire Department medics.
Okay, go straight. Breathe, all right? Yeah, help us carry him up there. Okay. Grab a leg. Go.
As the scene was secured and evidence examined, officers learned that the weapon Derby used was a pellet gun. Further investigation found that Officer Schneider was accidentally struck by one round of Officer Lampman's gunfire. It was later learned that the bullet that struck Officer Schneider came from behind, went through his vest carrier, struck the edge of the ballistic materials before entering into his back and exiting out his chest. When our officers are involved in situations like this, or with similar circumstances, we reach out to the DCI at the Iowa Department of Public Safety to lead the investigation.
We are there as a DCI at the request of that agency to make sure that there is total transparency and that the investigation is independent, therefore the information is gathered independent of that agency and provided to the prosecutors. Whether that is the county attorney's office or the attorney general's office or both, our job is just to gather the information and allow them to make a determination as to whether or not the shooting was justified.